female folk singer is dead after she was attacked by a pair of coyotes.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey...
He hit your face off!
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales.
If I show weakness, if I retreat, I may be hurt, I may be killed.
Baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken by a dingo back in 1980.
Hi there, my little stinkies. How are you? Welcome back to Man-Eaters, the only true crime podcast on the entire internet where all the killers are real animals, whether it's biting, scratchings, maulings, or clawings. We're here to talk about them. I'm, of course, your host, Papa Bear, Papa Jimby, aka Jimbalaya, aka Jimbles, aka the most smelly with the most belly. I'm here. Hi. How are you? It's nice to see you. Guys, I'm feeling good. I'll be honest, I'm feeling good. I just ate a really good sandwich. And I don't know, do you ever, maybe it's just because I'm like a fat guy, but do you ever just eat a really good sandwich and it just improves your mood? Oh, so good. I was in a pretty foul mood this morning. Long-time listeners of the show would be aware that myself and my fiance, we have a cat. The cat's name is Birdie because it likes birds. Get it? It actually was my fiance's cat before we met, and obviously it lives with us now. So it comes in waves, this cat. She will love on me for like months at a time. The other night she came on and she slept on my lap in the bed, not Celia. She slept on my lap. And that, I'll tell you what, that was a real feather in my cap. But then this morning, out of nowhere, I'm by myself in bed. My alarm goes off on my phone. I reach over and I try to grab it and I knock the phone off the thing onto the floor. And so I reach over to pick it up, and then when I get back up, the fucking cat like attacks me, like just scratched the shit out of my arm. I might put a photo on my Instagram so you can see. Just absolutely fucked me up, would not stop coming. And then proceeded to just hide under the bed howling for ages. I had to close her in the room and lock her in. And the door became kind of like stuck on the door wedge, you know, the little door wedge that you have on the thing to stop it from opening or closing. So it was like partially open, and she was like trying to fucking stick her head out and reaching her talons out. It was like that scene in The Shining where Jack Nicholson smashes through the "Here's Johnny" scene. He smashes the door with the axe and pokes his face out. That's what that was like with Birdie today. So I was a little on edge, but she's having a nap now, and I've eaten a sandwich. So yeah. Feeling better. Guys, that's enough about me and my animal attacks that happen within my own home. Let's talk about animal attacks that happen out there in the rest of the world. Starting off again this week, we're going to start off with the scratch of the day. Last week we did the scratch of the day at the top of the episode instead of the end, and I you know what? It felt right. I liked it, so we're going to keep that going. We're going to look at some attacks that animals have contributed to or have done in the past week, and we will we'll talk about them, guys. So the first story comes from Yahoo News. Love that. Fatal alligator attack. Foul play ruled out in Pinella woman's death. So let's read that. This is from Largo, FLA. Where's FLA? Is that Florida? I don't know. We'll find out. New body camera footage shows the response to an unusual and scary situation, a rare and deadly alligator attack. Sabrina Peckham, 41, was killed last September, but it wasn't until months later that investigators determined that she died of an animal attack and not foul play. The report details the circumstances surrounding the rare but deadly encounter, shedding light on the risk posed by Florida's native wildlife. There you go. Fla is with Florida. There you go. The video shows the moment when an officer shot the alligator that attacked Peckham. Investigators went looking for the gator in the brush on McKay Street in Largo, where Peckham was homeless and lived. Investigators are not exactly sure how or when it attacked Peckham. Quote, It doesn't appear to be any signs that the alligator has come up here, a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commissioner officer said, referencing where Peckham lived. The gator was found in a canal that connects Taylor Lake and Ridgecrest Park. So actually, it makes sense that there was a big gator where she was, because there's big gators between in this canal. Actually, a lot bigger than I thought it was, an officer is heard saying in the body camera video. Peckham's daughter said that her mother was on the street and struggling, and she still wonders how she came in contact with a 13.9-foot gator. She was trying to survive out there, which is the main purpose that she was, out there. She was just trying to stay off the streets to where she wouldn't be arrested, just trying to live. The victim's daughter, Breonna Doris, said, while attacks are rare, alligator trapper Phil Walters said people should view this tragic attack as a warning. Always be aware of your surroundings. Let predators know. Stare it down. That oftentimes will stop an attack, Walters said. But if you're triggering a wild animal, natural instincts by acting like it's prey, well, you're just inviting it. Yeah, there you go. That is a scary looking gator in the photo there. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So let's just recap there. Yeah, homeless woman. Excuse me, homeless woman attacked by an alligator in Florida. But it took him a few months to rule out that it wasn't a homicide or an assault by a human. So, yeah, it turns out that unfortunately it was an animal attack. Yeah, a very sad story. I feel like I said that a lot. But this, yeah, it is really tragic. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be homeless at all, let alone the threat of goddamn being eaten by an alligator. So yeah, that's very, very sad. Feel for her daughter too. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next story. Okay, a woman is dead after an apparent animal attack. Ooh, I like when it leaves a little bit to the imagination in the headline. That's good. All right. This is in Letcher County, KY. That's Kentucky, I believe. Kentucky. Oh, okay, first word of the story would have told me that's Kentucky. I still feel proud that I knew it. Kentucky State Police is investigating the death of a woman in Letcher County. Police said Trina Sandlin, 57, of Jeremiah, was found dead over an embankment on Dottie Creek. Sandlin was reportedly walking to a neighbor's home before the attack happened. Quote, the female left her residence to go to a neighboring residence just up the road, and family members got concerned when she did not return. So they went out looking for her, and they actually located her over an embankment, said Trooper Matt Gayhart. Gayhart said no foul play is suspected. He said animal attacks are not necessarily common in the area. Quote, it's very rare that we have these types of events, but they do occur. I know we've had a few in the past several years, so it's something that we want everybody to be aware of, said Gayhart. Sandlin's body was taken to a medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Yeah, unfortunately, there's that's it. It's light on details there. We don't know. It doesn't say in the story what is prompting them to believe that it's an animal attack rather than foul play. Obviously, my mind would obviously say it's probably because it looks like she's been scratched up by an animal. Kentucky, do bears live in Kentucky? Like, I'm thinking like what animal it could be. Obviously my first instinct was a bear. Do bears live in Kentucky? This might be a very stupid question for me to ask. Do bears live in Kentucky? Is home to a growing bear population that offers frequent and widespread viewing opportunities in the wild. That's for black bears. Okay, so bears do live in Kentucky. So it could be a bear. It could be less what do you call it? Spectacular than a bear. It could be a dog or a pack of wild dogs. Could be a cougar. I actually don't know a lot about Kentucky apart from the chicken. Maybe it was a chicken. I don't know. yeah, that's again, very short story. Maybe there'll be a follow-up next week when we get the autopsy report and it confirms what animal it was. Obviously, the troopers and the police are going to have to track down, if it was an animal, what animal it was, and either move it or euthanize it, unfortunately. More likely than not, they would euthanize it, but we have heard stories in the past where if it's like I think we've heard stories of where a bear has attacked a person, and rather than kill it, they just move the bear out. But that typically seems to be like in national parks or wilderness areas like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's not a lot of information here, so obviously feel really bad that woman's been killed. Hopefully, we get some more information. That happened on June 12th. So that was yesterday, 2 days ago. As of recording, it was 2 days ago. So, we don't know yet. We will hopefully find that out soon. All right, let's talk about another attack. Let's go to the water. Back to Florida, actually. 2 teen girls are among 3 swimmers attacked by sharks off the Florida Panhandle. This happened in Walton County, which we've now learned is Florida. 3 swimmers, including 2 teens, were attacked by sharks in 2 separate incidents while they were at beaches in Walton County, Florida on Friday, authorities said. A 45-year-old woman was swimming just past a sandbar with her husband at Watersound Beach when she was bitten by a shark around 1:20 p.m., South Walton Fire District Chief Ryan Crawford told reporters. The unidentified woman sustained, quote, significant trauma to the midsection of her body, and part of her left arm had to be amputated, Crawford said. Jesus, this escalated. She was transported to HCA Fort Walton Destin Hospital in critical condition. Around 90 minutes later, near Seacrest Beach, which is just 4 miles from Watersound Beach, a 15-year-old girl and 17-year-old girl were with a group of friends near the first sandbar in waist-deep water when they were injured by a shark, according to Crawford. One victim was bitten by a shark and sustained significant injuries and was flown to Ascension Sacred Heart Pensacola Hospital in critical condition. The second victim sustained flesh wounds to her foot and was transported to Ascension Bay Medical Center in a stable condition. Walton County Sheriff Michael A. Atkinson Jr., that's a great name, told reporters that officials ordered beaches to be closed after the first incident. However, the order was not fully enacted in the time before the teens were attacked. That was going to be my question, actually. It's the same beach? Why were they in the water? Why was that beach not closed? It was 90 minutes after the first attack, like an hour and a half. That's probably enough time to enact the closing of the beach. So I don't know. There might be some legal problem. I don't know how the beach is run there. Maybe here it would be run by the city council, and the lifeguards work for the council, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, potentially, if there's negligence there or they were lazy or slow in closing that beach, they could be in a bit of trouble there. Authorities also said that the process of changing the beach warning flags along the coastline would have taken about an hour and a half to complete. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I don't know. Maybe they don't have one of those little like beach buggy vehicles that they drive up the beach with, and they have to walk an hour and a half to do it. I don't know. That's interesting. Sheriff Atkinson Jr. Said the last shark attack in the county was back in 2021, and the last shark-related fatality was in 2005. He says, quote, "This is an anomaly. Everything from it being 3 victims to where it is at," the sheriff said. "All we can do is respond, control, and mitigate what we can." Walton County authorities have reached out to ocean wildlife experts in Mote Marine in Pensacola, Florida. Why am I struggling on that name? Pensacola, Florida, to help the investigation of the incident. Walton County officials reopened the beaches on Saturday with extra patrols in the water and red and purple flags to warn swimmers. "It is important to us," this is a quote, "It is important to us that beach patrons recognize and understand the risk of the open water as it pertains not just to surf hazards but to marine life. We ask you to remain situationally aware at all times," South Walton Fire District said in a statement. The Bay County Sheriff's Office also announced double red flag warnings for its beaches Saturday and had more information on what might be attracting the sharks. Quote, Sheriff Tommy Ford has been in conversation with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and has learned that bait fish are schooling near the shore at this time of year, which may have been a contributing factor of the attacks. Florida's shark attacks weren't the only incidents that were reported that Friday. A 25-year-old woman was rushed to hospital after she suffered a shark bite off Oahu. Oahu's North Shore around 12 p.m. local time, according to it's in Hawaii, Honolulu Emergency Services. EMS met the patient at the Halloway Small Boat Harbor, where she was brought to shore. EMS treated her multiple serious lacerations and transported her to an emergency room, the agency said in a statement. The unidentified victim's condition was unknown as of Saturday morning. There you go. Yeah, wow, from reading the headline, I thought the shark attacked 3 people in sort of one incident, but it's 2 incidents. And the first lady, which the article didn't really focus on, had an arm amputated. Yeah. Insane. Part of her left arm had to be amputated. Geez, that's rough. Yeah, shark attacks, man. We don't talk about them as much as I thought we would talk about. When I started this show, I thought it would just all be shark attacks. We don't talk about shark attacks that often, but when we do, they are brutal. Shark is not an animal I would want to be, attacked by. Obviously, that seems like such an obvious thing to say, but there's not a lot of animals I would less like to be attacked. Does that make sense? I don't know. I guess I'm saying it's in my top 5 of the worst animals to be eaten by. Mainly because I'm in the water. I don't like swimming at all. I don't like swimming in general, let alone having a big fish eat me. All right, let's talk about another story now. We're heading over to Asia, I believe India. We are in India because the website is called India Today. So bear with me on the place names. I haven't read the article yet. Okay. A man was killed, eaten up by wild animal in Madhya Pradesh. Tiger attack suspected. The Forest Department has announced compensation to the next of kin of the victim and has also issued a warning, advising the villagers in Madhya Pradesh's Raisin district to not venture into the forests. A 62-year-old man was found dead with his body partially eaten by a wild animal in Madhya Pradesh Raisin district on Thursday. While the Forest Department has not declared whether the man was killed by a tiger or a leopard, local claims and evidence from the victim's body suggest that it was a tiger. Notably, this is the first time an incident of a man being partially eaten by a tiger has been reported in this area. The victim, identified as Maniram Jatav, a resident of the village, had gone to an adjoining village to pluck tendu leaves on Wednesday. When he did not return until the afternoon, his family launched a search for him. Jatav's body was found in a forest patch on Thursday evening in a mutilated condition. According to experts, the wounds on his body suggest he was killed and eaten by a tiger. Quote, there was a human casualty involving a big cat. It is yet to be ascertained whether it was by a leopard or a tiger. According to locals, they have witnessed at least 2 tigers roaming in the forest near Neemkheda village for the last few months. After the incident, a warning was also issued to locals about not venturing into the forest in the next few days. A compensation of 8 lakh, late lakh, I don't know what that means, has been announced for the next of kin of the deceased. A human killed by a tiger has not been reported in the past many decades in this area. However, in January of 2021, a 12-year-old girl was killed by a leopard in the Gopisur village, located nearly 10 kilometers from the Neemkheda village where Wednesday's incident took place. The leopard that killed the girl did not consume her, unlike Wednesday's incident where the animal did. There you go. That's pretty intense. Yeah, wow. When I first started the show, before I started the show, I really didn't think that this happened anymore, that this often, like, people were being eaten by tigers in the wild. I don't know, maybe I'm just, like, sheltered, you know, my Western sensibilities have kept me loose from that. But I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We got one more story. This one is an interesting one. I think we're still in India, or we're in South Asia, I believe. Or it could be Africa. I'm not sure. I'm just judging off a place name. 60 sheep have been killed in a wild animal attack in the Siddipet district. The owner of the sheep has kept nearly 100 sheep at his shed located on the outskirts of the village. He left the place to cover his paddy with tarpaulins at the procurement center at 1 a.m. Oh, wow. I'm looking at the... yeesh. Yeah, I'm looking at the photo of a bunch of dead sheep. Damn. More than 60 sheep were killed in a suspected wild animal attack at the Machapur village in Chinikodur Mandal in the early hours of Thursday. The owner of the sheep kept nearly 100 sheep at the shed located on the outskirts of the village. He left his place to cover his paddy with tarpaulins at the procurement center at 1 a.m. When he returned, he found more than 60 dead with injuries, while the rest of them were injured. Okay, badly written. While the locals were suspecting a hyena killed them, the forest officials led FRO, I can't even say the name, to have collected pug marks. Why is this so badly written? The government, it's because it's translated into English. The government officials suspected that it might have been a hyena or a wolf. The owner has urged the government to support him by extending compensation. Meanwhile, the government official has said that they would place camera traps to identify the wild animal roaming in the area. Okay, there you go. A short and sweet story. A bunch of fucking sheep got killed. No people died. Hooray! One of our stories has kind of a good ending. Yeah. How does it kill 60? Like, why would a wolf go in there and kill 60 sheep? I understand, like, you're a hungry wolf and you go like, oh, I'll kill one and I'll drag it off or I'll eat it. What? Why would you kill 60? Is it just like, I don't know. If it's a hyena or a wolf, is it like sport? Is it fun for them? I don't know. That's really interesting, because there have been stories like that before where it's like a massive amount of livestock have been killed by an unknown animal. And it's like, why did the animal not consume the victims of the attack? Why did it not do that? So, that's really interesting. Yeah, maybe there is a part of it where it's like it's a bit of sport for them. It's fun. I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird one. Maybe we'll have to look into that in a future episode. Look, that has been our scratch of the day. Very good. Round of applause, everyone. We did it. And we're going to move on now to another segment, another news-related segment I like to call the Dickhead of the Day. This segment used to be called Wacky Weirdo of the Day, and it was meant for like people who did like kind of silly things, or like they went and punched a kangaroo and then they got kicked in the dick. But more often than not, it's just very sad stories of animal cruelty or bestiality. So it's now been rebranded to the Dickhead of the Day. And our Dickhead of the Day is a woman who's been charged with animal cruelty in Rome. I don't think it's the Rome you're thinking of. I think it's a Rome in Georgia. I think. And also not the country. This is confusing. This whole place. Not the country Georgia, the state Georgia, and not the city Rome in Italy. The county Rome in Georgia, but not the. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. An officer finds 8 dead cats inside home Rome. It rhymes. Woman charged with animal cruelty. Here we go. Floyd County, Georgia. A Floyd County police officer arrested a 56-year-old woman at a Rome residence after discovering multiple deceased and neglected felines inside the home. The officer responded to a fight at the Club View Drive property on April 29th, 2024, and met with a cleaning crew member who explained the suspect had been evicted. He said that while he and his crew cleaned out the residence, Alison Moore Kelly and a male were present, gathering Kelly's belongings from outside. He advised that they had found dead cats inside. The officer noted that the foul smell was overbearing upon entry, making it difficult to breathe. He found 8 deceased kittens throughout the home. Animal control arrived to assist, and 4 adult cats and 1 small kitten were discovered in the garage, which was filled with animal feces and garbage. Animal control personnel explained that the kitten was so tiny and neglected that they were not sure if it would survive. The police officer directed Kelly to turn around and place her hands behind her back. He informed her that she would face aggravated animal cruelty charges as he handcuffed her. Kelly states that the cats did not belong to her. She said they were, quote, feral cats that just ended up inside the residence. The officer transported her to Floyd County Jail, where she was charged with 14 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. The case is pending. Now, we actually have, this is really good, we have the officer's narrative. It says, please note, the following is a direct transcription from the official initial incident report. The Georgia Gazette does not fix any spelling or grammatical errors that may exist. Any changes or redactions made by our staff are placed inside brackets. I will not read the brackets for you, unless I need to. Some errors may still exist. All subjects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The topics discussed may be sensitive to some readers. Discretion is advised. So this is the officer's narrative. I'll read that to you. Let's do some. I am an award-winning actor. Let's act it out. Okay. On the above date and time, I, PFC Wishart, arrived 20 block Clubview Drive in reference to a fight call. Upon arrival, I spoke with a Hispanic male that was a part of a cleaning crew that was hired to clean out the residence. Redacted, advised that Allison Kelly was evicted from the residence and she and another male were at the residence getting items from outside the residence that belonged to Allison. Redacted, advised that there were some dead cats inside the residence. I entered the residence, and there was animal feces throughout the house, and the foul smell was overbearing, that it made it hard to breathe inside the residence. While looking through the residence, I found 8 dead kittens throughout the residence. Animal control arrived on scene 4. Adult cats. Excuse me, let me say that again. Animal control arrived on scene. 4 adult cats and another kitten were found in the garage. Garage. How do you say that in American? Garage. Garage. That's better. Garage. Animal control arrived on scene. 4 adult cats and another kitten were found in the garage of the residence. The garage was filled with garbage and animal feces. Animal control advised the live kitten was found so small and could not take care of it. They did not know if it would live. I gave Allison verbal commands to turn around and place her hands behind her back. I advised Allison she was under arrest for aggravated cruelty to animals. I placed Allison in handcuffs, double-locked, and checked her for fit. Allison states the cats inside the residence were not her cats, and they were, quote, feral cats that just ended up inside the residence. Allison was placed in the back of the police patrol vehicle, transported to Floyd County Jail, and turned over to jail staff. That was a terrible accent. My God. What am I doing? There you go. Great report, by the way, from the Georgia Gazette. I love that they've kept the incident report, the officer's narrative in there. That's great. That's really good journalism. I like that. Okay, well, there you go. Allison Moore Kelly, you are our dickhead of the day. Congratulations, and I hope you go to jail for a little bit, because, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that to kittens or cats. Even if they're not your cats, they just end up inside. You can get them out of the house or feed them a container of milk or something. Shit. Yeah. Dickhead. All right, that made me really angry, so let's take a break now. Let's all have a sip of water. We'll go and do a wee, and we'll be back after these messages, if there are any messages. And if there's no messages, just a little bit of music. Okay. All right, go and do a wee. Oh, and we're back, guys. You have a good break? I did. I went and did a wee, and I watched TikToks. That's pretty much what I do every break. It's time for the main event, guys. It's time for part 2 of our Kill Countdown. That's right. Last week, we kicked off this series, the most anticipated series, at least for me, in the show's history. I'm just going to give you a little recap of what we've been doing. So essentially, I found a list of the top 10 most prolific and deadly man-eaters in history, the individual animals with the highest kill counts, with the highest death tolls, and we're going to go through them. And last week we went through 3 big cats, 2 leopards and a tiger. Each of them killed about 100 people. Today we're going through and we're doing another 3 animals. The difference this time is all 3 of these animals we've actually covered on their own separate episodes before. So if you're interested in learning more, maybe getting a little bit more in depth, you can do that. Go and track down the episodes. Some of them are from quite a while ago. So what I will do is go through and kind of retouch a lot of what we talked about the first times we did. So that's what's going to happen now. So we're going to jump into the kill countdown. It is... Oh, why did my laptop just unplug itself? That's weird. Okay, so are we ready? Oh, there's some... we've got some cool little music. Let's do that. Kill countdown music, go. Number 7, the Beast of Gévaudan. So we did cover this topic way back, one of the first episodes we ever recorded, The Beast of Gévaudan. It added a nice element of mystery and intrigue to the show, because up until that point, we'd never covered kind of like an unidentified animal. And that's one thing about The Beast of Gévaudan is it's the reason every other animal on this list is called like the leopard of Pinar or the tiger of Chalga or something like that. It's because we know what animal it was. The Beast of Gévaudan is called the Beast because we don't technically really know what animal it was. Now, in all likelihood, it probably was just a wolf or a wolf hybrid. That was something that was spoken about. Other theories say that it could have been like a hyena or, some kind of weird feral dog or a mutant dog or something. We'll never know the answer. In my opinion, in all likelihood, it probably was just some kind of bizarre-looking wolf, potentially a wolf with a facial injury that made it look different, or had some kind of weird genetic mutation to make its color different. But yeah, it was a pretty insane story. We're going to get into it now, and I'll give you a bit of a recap. But it was an episode we did do very early on, and you can go and read that whenever you get a chance. Not read that, listen to that whenever you get a chance. But here's just a brief overview of the Beast of Gévaudan. It is estimated that this animal, whatever it was, did kill 113 people in the 1700s in France, which is a pretty unhinged number of people to be killed by. But this is number 7, which means every animal above this does have a higher kill count. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Beast of Gévaudan. So the Beast of Gévaudan, it's a chilling tale of a mysterious creature that terrorized the rural region of Gévaudan in south-central France during the mid-18th century. The beast, described by witnesses as a large, wolf-like animal with reddish fur, a long tail, and unusually powerful jaws, is credited with killing over 100 people between 1764 and 1767. This period of horror left a profound mark on French folklore and remains a subject of fascination and speculation till this day. The first recorded attack occurred in the summer of 1764 when a young woman was tending cattle near Lejeune and reported being attacked by a monstrous creature. Though she survived thanks to the intervention of her cattle, others were not as fortunate. Over the following months, reports of brutal attacks on men, women, and children began to pour in from various parts of Gévaudan. The victims were often found with their throats torn out and their bodies mutilated, leading to widespread panic. Descriptions of the beast varied, but common features included its size, often said to be as large as a calf or a horse, its powerful build, and its capacity to move with remarkable speed and agility. Eyewitnesses also noticed its ferocity and seeming preference for human prey, which distinguished it from normal wolves. In response to the growing terror, King Louis XV took a personal interest in the matter. He dispatched professional wolf hunters, including Jean-Charles Marc Antonin Vesemel d'Envel and his son Jean-François to Gévaudan. Despite their efforts, the attacks continued. In 1765, the king sent his own lieutenant of the hunt, Francois Antoine, who managed to kill a large wolf near Chars. This wolf was believed to be the Beast of Gévaudan, and it was sent to Versailles for inspection. However, the attacks did not cease, leading to doubts about whether the true beast had ever been slain. The mystery deepened with subsequent hunts and killings of large wolves, yet brutal attacks persisted. Local folklore began to blend with actual events, giving rise to theories that it ranged from supernatural creatures to a hyena or lion brought from Africa. Some speculated that the beast might have been an exotic animal that was trained to kill by a human, while others believe it could be a wolf-dog hybrid. The killings finally seemed to end in June of 1767 when a local hunter named Jean Chastel shot a large wolf during a hunt. This wolf was later identified as the true beast of Gévaudan by those who had survived its attacks. Chastel's act was seen as a heroic culmination of a long and terrifying episode. The creature's body was sent to Paris for examination, and although it was not conclusively identified as anything other than a large wolf, the attacks ceased, bringing a sense of relief and closure to the tormented region. The Beast of Gévaudan remains an enigmatic figure in French history. Modern theories about its identity include a large rogue wolf or wolf-dog hybrid, or some suggest it may have been an escaped exotic animal such as a hyena that had been brought to France for a menagerie or a zoo. This legend has been further immortalized in books, films, and television series, all exploring the various facets of this historic enigma. The tale of the Beast of Gévaudan is a compelling blend of history, myth, and the perennial human fascination with the unknown. It underscores the power of folklore and the way extraordinary events can capture the collective imagination, leaving an indelible mark on culture and history. So yeah, that's kind of my wrap up of the Beast of Gévaudan. Like I said, if you want a much more in-depth story, including the specifics of what happened in a lot of the individual attacks, go and listen to that episode. It's a little bit further back, but you can find it, the Beast of Gévaudan. In fact, just search for it on Spot. Actually, I wonder if I just search the Beast of Gévaudan, am I going to be the only thing that comes up? Or will there be other podcasts that have talked about the same thing? Or is there a song? Maybe there's a song, the Beast of Gévaudan. Okay, there's a Half-Assed History did an episode on it. Oh, there we are, number 2. Cool. Gévaudan. Yeah, great. I also hope I'm pronouncing it right? The Beast of Gévaudan. Yeah, there you go. Well, a few people have talked about it, but go and listen to my episode about it. It's episode 15, apparently. It got released in April of 2022, so yeah. It was only 23 minutes long. Wow, my episodes used to be really short, didn't they? Damn. Look at that. Well, anyway, you can go back for a somewhat, thorough explanation of what this story was. Yeah, one of the theories I kind of like is the theory that it was an escaped exotic animal from a menagerie or a zoo. That to me is quite compelling. But like I said at the outset, in all likelihood, it probably was just a really large wolf. And you know how rumors spread and how misinformation can get around, especially when people are panicked. We've talked about panic so much, like the Monkey Man of New Delhi, that episode of the Killer Cryptids. Like, panic is such a disease that spreads through a population and it just changes everything. So, that is the story of the Beast of Gévaudan. Number 6, the Leopard of Rudraprayag. The Leopard of Rudraprayag is a leopard that killed at least 125 people. Again, we have done an episode on this story before. I believe it was something like episode 20 or 25 or something like that. So, like all the other animals in this episode, if you want to go and listen to a more in-depth story, you can go and do that, but I will give you a recap. So yeah, the tale of the Leopard of Rudraprayag, it's a gripping chapter in the annals of wildlife history. It's a story that intertwines the untamed beauty of the Indian Himalayas with the chilling reality of a man-eater that terrorized a region. Between 1918 and 1926, a man-eating leopard known as the Leopard of Rudraprayag terrorized villages in India. Ultimately, the large cat would have killed at least 125 people, but experts, including the man who killed it, conjecture that the actual death toll is probably a lot higher. In the end, the rudraprayag leopard would rank in the top 10 of most prolific man-eaters in history in terms of death toll, and became one of the most well-known large cat man-eaters in the world. The leopard of Rudraprayag first began as deadly spree during the winter of 1918. Initially, its attacks were sporadic, but they soon became frequent and widespread, marking a sinister transformation from a mere animal to a notorious man-eater. The leopard's reign of terror spanned 8 years, during which it developed a near-mythical status, its presence an almost supernatural shadow lurking in the minds of the local population. The predatory behavior of this leopard was not merely a consequence of natural instinct, but a series of complex factors, including the outbreak of disease. The global influenza pandemic of 1918, which ravaged human populations, it also affected wildlife. The proliferation of dead bodies, often improperly disposed of, provided an easy food source for scavengers, leading some predators, like the leopard, to develop a taste for human flesh. Once the initial source of easy prey diminished, the leopard began actively hunting humans, finding them less daunting than other natural prey. The leopard's cunning and elusiveness made it a formidable adversary. It primarily hunted at night, targeting villagers in their homes. The thick forests and rugged terrain of the region provided it with ample cover, making tracking and confronting the animal a daunting task. Villagers lived in perpetual fear, their lives dictated by the menace of this unseen predator. Measures such as fortified doors and organized night watches became common, but these provided little solace against an enemy that seemed almost perpetually intelligent and adaptable. Now, here's the part of the story where we entered with Jim Corbett, one of our heroes, the badass bitch himself, a British hunter, naturalist, and author renowned for his expertise in dealing with man-eaters. Corbett was summoned to Rudraprayag in 1925, and his involvement marked a turning point in the saga of the leopard. Unlike many hunters of his time, Corbett approached the task with a blend of empathy and understanding of the animal's plight, recognizing the broader ecological and social factors that had turned a majestic creature into a fearsome man-eater. Corbett's pursuit of the leopard was a test of patience, of skill, and of endurance. He spent several months in the region meticulously studying the animal's behavior, tracking its movements, and setting traps. His efforts culminated in a tense and dramatic encounter on the night of May 2nd, 1926, when he finally succeeded in killing the leopard. The relief that swept through the region was palpable, ending a chapter of fear and bloodshed that had gripped the local community for nearly a decade. The story of the leopard of Rudraprayag, it's not merely a tale of a man-eater, but it's also a profound narrative that highlights the complex interplay between humans and wildlife. It underscores a fragile balance in nature and the consequences when this balance is disrupted. This leopard's transformation into a man-eater was a direct result of human actions and environmental changes, reminding us of the deep and often unintended impacts of our own interactions with the world. Jim Corbett's documentation of this ordeal, particularly in his books, The Man-Eating Leopard of Rudraprayag, provides a detailed and compassionate account of events, offering insights not just into the hunt, but into the broader context of human-wildlife conflict. Corbett's legacy through his writings and conservation efforts continue to influence an understanding of wildlife conservation and the importance of maintaining ecological harmony. The leopard of Rudraprayag remains a poignant symbol of the challenges and consequences of human encroachment into wildlife habitats. It's a story of a stark reminder of the unpredictable and often tragic outcomes of disrupting the delicate balance of nature. Yeah, the leopard of Rudraprayag, man, it's all coming back to me now. You should go back and listen to that episode. It is an early one, probably quite a short episode compared to what we do now, but it is a fascinating story, and any story with Jim Corbett in it is it's usually a good tale. I remember, and I believe I'm thinking of the correct animal, unless I'm mixing it up. Jim Corbett speaks of witnessing the aftermath of one of these attacks. I remember he talks about a leopard essentially ripping a woman's breast off while she was still alive and trying to save her life, but she just died. She was wheezing all night. Flies were thick on the walls and getting into the wound. It was pretty terrible. So definitely go back and listen to that or look into it more. I think maybe the leopard of Rudraprayag might be a topic that we come back to for a redux after episode 100 at some point. There was also, I remember, there's a sign in Rudraprayag, and it actually has like what would you call it? It's not a shrine to the leopard. It's more of a shrine to the story. It includes the death tolls each year, and it's just insane. This animal was killing like 2 people a month for 8 years. More than that. It was just, it was a complete force of nature. Totally terrifying. I can't imagine living in a village at that time, just being like, yeah, there's this one leopard out there fucking with us continuously. It's insane. We're halfway through the list now, guys, and we're up to number 5, the man-eating lions of Tsavo. This is a terrific story, and again, we've covered it pretty extensively in the past, and you can go back and listen to that. Not only did we cover it, I believe it was like episode 5 or something, the man-eating Tsavo lions, but we've also done a man-eater movie series on it too. We watched the movie called The Ghost in the Darkness, which is a movie starring Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer, which was made, I think, in the 80s, that is based on this story. It's basically a remake of what happened. It's an insane story, and we're going to do a bit of a recap for you now. So the lions of Tsavo were a pair of maneless African lions that plagued construction of a very important railway in Africa for a very long time. And it got so bad that work on the railway stopped, the workers fled, they went home, and these were people who were in desperate need of money, like that to secure work on a massive construction project like a railway at this time of history was great. You were getting paid pretty well for pretty consistent work, and for people to abandon that, it had to be for a pretty good reason, and it was a pretty good reason. These lions killed over 100 people. And they were horrifying when they did it. They attacked at nighttime. They worked in pairs. They avoided capture, and they were insanely intelligent for lions as well. They ended up having to call in a specialized hunter, like a lot of the big cat stories. A specialized hunter had to come in and look after it. It's a pretty wild story, and we're going to just do a bit of a summary of what happened now. The story of the Tsavo man-eating lions is a chilling chapter in the annals of African wildlife and human history. In 1898, during the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway, 2 male lions wreaked havoc on the British-led project, claiming the lives of an estimated 135 workers over 9 months. These lions, now famously known as the Tsavo man-eaters, have since become legends, inspiring books, movies, and extensive scientific study. The railway project, dubbed the Lunatic Line due to its ambitious route through treacherous terrain, faced numerous challenges. However, none was more terrifying than the nightly attacks by these formidable predators. The lions' notoriety stemmed not only from the sheer number of their victims, but also from their unusual hunting behaviour. Unlike typical lion prides that hunt cooperatively, the Tsavo lions operated as a pair, unusual for male lions, and they were maneless. Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, the chief engineer overseeing the railway construction, took it upon himself to end the reign of terror. His efforts to track and kill the lions read like an adventure novel. Patterson constructed elaborate traps, built thorn fences known as bombers around the camp, and even used workers as bait in an attempt to lure the lions. Despite these measures, the lions continued their attacks with a brazen ferocity. After several near misses and harrowing encounters, Patterson finally succeeded. He shot the first lion on December 9th, 1898, and the second lion 3 weeks later. Patterson documented his experience in the book The Man-Eaters of Tsavo, which has since become a classic in adventure literature. The question of why these lions turn into man-eaters has intrigued scientists for over a century. Various theories have been proposed, ranging from dental issues that made hunting traditional prey difficult to the impact of local disease that decimated the lion's natural prey, forcing them to seek alternative food sources. Recent studies have suggested that one of the lions suffered from a severe tooth abscess, which could have made it painful to hunt typical prey, driving it towards humans instead, who are easier to catch and kill. The Tsavo lion's physical characteristics have also been a subject of fascination. Their lack of manes, a trait shared by some Tsavo lions today, could be attributed to genetic factors, environmental conditions, or a combination of both. Manelessness in lions is sometimes associated with the need to dispel heat in the hotter climates of the Tsavo region. Today, the Tsavo man-eaters' legacy lives on. Their mounted skins and skulls are displayed at the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, where they continue to capture the public's imagination. The museum exhibits provide not only a glimpse into the terrifying events of 1898, but also an educational perspective on lion behavior and conservation. The Tsavo man-eating lions remains a powerful reminder of the complex and sometimes deadly interplay between humans and wildlife. The story underscores the importance of understanding and respecting the natural world, as well as the need for ongoing research to unravel the mysteries of animal behavior. As the Tsavo lions continue to fascinate and educate, they also serve as a testament to human resilience and the enduring spirit of exploration and discovery. The Tsavo lions are one of my favorite stories that we've ever covered. Over the 100 episodes almost that we've done, I think we nearly peaked here with the Tsavo man-eating lions. It truly is the pinnacle of a man-eater story. If you haven't seen the movie The Ghost in the Darkness, I do recommend it. It's a little bit like, it's okay. Val Kilmer really feels like miscast, and Michael Douglas's character, I believe, is not even real. Like, they've just added him in because Michael Douglas was producing it and wanted to be in it as well. But it is a pretty good movie, and I do recommend it. Like with all the other animals today, I do recommend going back and listening to the episodes. Maybe the Tsavo lions will be an episode we touch base on again in the future, and we do a recap, because since we started this podcast, I've gotten a little bit better at researching and writing scripts. So, it might be a little bit better. But that is it today for our kill countdown. We have covered number 7, 6, and 5. The Beast of Gévaudan, the Leopard of Rudraprayag, and the Man-Eating Lions of Tsavo. A little bit more variety this week in terms of the animal species. Last week it was 2 leopards and a tiger. Today we've got a bit more variety, a bit more diversity. That's what this podcast really is about. It's all about diversity. Great. Well, we're going to close this out now with my new favorite segment of the show, which was recently added. I got a lot of great feedback about this one. So we're going to do our next segment, which is called I'm going to A you in the Q. That's right, I'm going to Q in the A. It's basically a question and answer segment. Last week, I think it was Hannah asked me what would be my Mount Rushmore of man-eaters, and my answer was what was it? Tiger, lion, bear, and crocodile. And I posted on Instagram. I asked you guys what you thought. And yeah, the consensus is that's a pretty good list. But one person who I spoke with in the comments, they recommended shifting the lion to replace it with a leopard. And I think after reflection, that's probably the right way to go. I think I probably agree with you. Who was I talking to? I just want to pull it up. I don't want to get it wrong. Oh, it was Bryce. I was talking to Vanilla Bryce on Instagram. You can go follow him. He reckons that, given the higher kill count, you'd pick the leopard. And I think you're right. The lion does have a degree of iconicness, especially when we think about like the lions of Tsavo. But yeah. And actually, Bryce said something interesting. He said, I remember reading about ancient hominids being stalked and killed by leopards very early in evolution. So there seems to be an ancient predilection to hunting humans there as well. I don't know if it applies to lions as well. I mean, maybe it does apply to lions. We can't know. But yeah, I mean, humans and leopards have kind of had a interesting history together for thousands and thousands of years. So yeah, I would probably say that I would redact that and change it. So I would go tiger, leopard, bear, and crocodile. There you go. This week's question, and it is a great question. This one comes from is it Alira? Alira, I think it was. Here's the question. I'm going to read it out as it's written because it's a good question. You have to fight 3 fully grown silverback gorillas. All right, I'm pretty fucked. You get to take one element from 5 different animals and add them to your current body. What do you choose to give yourself the best fighting odds? Each element can scale to your size. For example, if you give yourself a scorpion tail, it will scale up to fit your body. You won't just have like a tiny little Dubin on the end. You'll essentially, I would look like Scorpion from Spider-Man. So the question is, to prepare for battle against 3 fully grown silverback gorillas, what 5 traits would I take from different animals, keeping in mind that they scale up? Fantastic question. To answer it, we need to think about who we're going up against. So we're going up against silverback gorillas. Now, my first thought was like, great, silverback gorillas, they don't have claws, so I don't need to worry about any puncture wounds. But then I thought, well, actually, have you ever seen a gorilla's like tooth? They've got sharp teeth, and they can bite too, and they probably will bite. So first thing I'm going to do is, because I'm just a guy, gorillas get big, I'm going to take some size. All right, I'm not going to go all the way up to be like an elephant because I think that might slow me down a little bit. But I'm going to take some size. I'm going to make myself the size of a polar bear. Okay, can I do that? I'm going to just do it. You're not here to answer me, so I'm going to do that. So I'm taking the size of a polar bear. Okay, I'm going to take the skin. I'm going to take the skin of a. What would it be? Because it does scale up to. I was going to say the skin of a rhino, maybe. The skin of a rhinoceros to, protect from puncture wounds. Yeah, I think, does the rhinoceros have the thickest hide? Let's say that. I'm going to go with the rhinoceros. So with the size of a polar bear, the hide of a rhinoceros. Do I want to fly? I don't think, should I take wings? I don't know. I don't think that's going to help me just fly away from them. Let's think weaponry. What weapons does the animal kingdom have that's really, really interesting? Venom would be cool. I could bite them and... Oh, hey, what about this? I'll take webs from spiders, like a silk spider, because it's going to scale up to my size too, so the strength would scale up. So I'll take that too, so I can web these guys up as well, slow them down a little bit. That's good. I would like the penis of a whale. Just because after the fight I'll still have it. No, I won't do that. What about if I take the aggressiveness, or I guess the stamina of like a honey badger? Because they never give, or a wolverine, like one of those guys. I'll go wolverine because of the movie. And then one more thing that I could take. I've got some size. I've got some protection. I can web them up. And I've got like a really good, stamina. I don't really have an offensive weapon yet. Should I take rhino horn as well? No. Maybe I'll give myself some claws. I'll give myself the claws of a sloth bear. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm picturing it now. I'm the size of a polar bear. My skin is as thick as a rhinoceros's. I have the stamina and endurance of a wolverine. I have the claws of a sloth bear. What was the other thing I took? The whale's penis? What was the other thing? I've already forgotten. Oh, the webs. Yeah. The webs is kind of like a defensive weapon. I can try to slow them down. Yeah, I like that. I can see that. I'd feel pretty confident in my ability to take down 3 gorillas with that move set. Yeah, that was a great question. I really like that. I'm gonna post this in the Instagram as well. Like, what would you take? You can take 5 elements from another animal. They all scale up. Yeah, I do like that. I'm gonna change the hypothetical again so I can make it a little difficult. I have to fight 100 ducks. No, never mind. Don't worry about that. I won't do that. Cool. Guys, that's going to do it for our episode today. Thank you for listening to part 2 of our kill countdown. And, of course, listening to the scratch of the day at the top of the episode. Before you go, just really quickly wanted to mention something. And I have mentioned this in the past. In a month, I will be taken to the stage again, playing Dewey in the School of Rock musical in Newcastle, where I live. I know most of the listeners to the show don't live near me. In fact, most of you live overseas in the US or Canada or the UK. But if you do live in Newcastle or even as far away as Sydney, 2 or 3 hours away, I'd really love you to come and see my show. You can get tickets at the Civic Theatre website, or you can go to schoolofrocknewcastle.com.au. It's a really special show. We would love some bums on seats. And if you are a listener of the show and you come, let me know and we'll catch up afterwards. We'll take a little photo. It'll be great. Any hootie in the blowfish. That's going to do it, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic week ahead. I hope you've got a fun week coming up for yourself. And as always, stay safe, because as we've learned, mummy, daddy, papa. What? It's a bit of a jungle out there.